How's it going, y'all? Cool Cat Codes here with a video for y'all. Today it's pretty cloudy outside, starting to rain. We don't like that. We want the sun to stay here forever, obviously. Get that vitamin D, you know how it is. Just got done studying Japanese. You know, we gotta lock in. About to go to work, but I wanted to make a little video for y'all first. Today, I am going to be talking to you guys about why you should probably skip college if you live in the United States. I can't speak on other countries and their education system, so I'm not going to speak on other countries. I don't like to speak about stuff I don't know about. But in general, this country's education system is failing, and I'm going to talk to you guys today about what I would do different if I could go back. I have my bachelor's degree, so I have some firsthand experience with the education system, both in public and in private university. And I want to shed light on my experience. I want to shed light on, the next 5 years after that, and tell you exactly what happens when you get out of college in most cases. And I want to elaborate on what you should do. Like, there are better options out there in my opinion. But first, can y'all do me a huge favor and just like and subscribe? Helps me so much with the algorithm. We're trying to blow up. We're on a huge journey. We're gonna post every day for a year and just see what happens, all right? But I really appreciate all y'all that are viewing my stuff. I really appreciate the support. Like, you guys don't know how much it means to me. All right, first I have to tell you my story so that you guys can get some context for where I'm coming from. I grew up very book smart with a lot of educational support. My grandmother was a teacher. My grandmother, was very, very adamant that you will go and you're gonna go to college, you're gonna get your education. And so I was always raised that way. Ever since 3 years old, the expectation was not only are you gonna do well in school, but you're also going to go to university someday. Like, it was kind of just ingrained into me. And so I never thought any different about like a different option. Okay, so all the way through middle school, high school, I was never even really proud of myself for my good grades because, one, it came super easy to me, and so without the hard work, it's impossible to be proud of yourself. So I was getting easy, good grades, and then basically after I graduated high school, I went into college. I went straight into a 4-year university, and that was probably a mistake in retrospect, even right then, because I did not know anything about what I wanted to do. I still hadn't declared a major. I hadn't even thought hard about what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. What was my passion? At 18, most of us don't know our passion. Like, how are you supposed to, I don't even know what I want for breakfast when I was 18. Like, so how am I supposed to know what I want to do for the rest of my life? And I'm devoting thousands and thousands of dollars to that. So overall, it's just kind of a bad time in your life to make those big, drastic decisions. Okay, so I end up going. During my first term, I do end up committing to an actual major. I was an economics major. I got my bachelor's in science and economics with a focus in econometrics. The only reason I chose that was because everyone told me if you're a business major, you're an idiot. And no shade to business majors, but people just told me like business majors are people that don't know what the fuck they're doing. And so I chose something that was slightly different, but in that same vein of like, I knew I wanted to work in a business someday. Like, I knew I wanted to have my own business someday. And so economics was a more math-oriented business degree that I could get, that helped me and has helped me with my like graph analytical skills. Like, there's so many graphs when it comes to economics, and so learning how to analyze trends is like one of the only things I've gotten from my economics degree per se. But then take you through kind of the experience in general. Most of the classes you take, which you're paying for every single class, most of the classes you take, once again, you're never going to apply to your real life. Like, I went to a university that required like a lot of different like theater classes and art classes. And don't get me wrong, those classes were fun, but I'm like, I don't ever practice art. I don't ever practice, I don't ever read plays, or I don't ever read manuscripts. Like, I'm never going to do that again in my life. Why was I wasting hours of my week, every single week, doing that and paying some university money through credit hours to do that? That makes no fucking sense. I would have been way better off if I was putting countless more hours into either your major, if you're passionate about it, or into just something you're passionate about. I could have been in the gym more. I could have been reading something that was profound, that was actually going to have a grip on my life. And instead, I was in theater class. I was in all these, classes that were required. You could not get around these. You had to take a certain amount of like something arts class or arts credits. I can't even remember how they framed it, but it was this specific university required you to do this. And okay, so I'm in college. I'm having a great time too. Okay, like that is the one super big positive that I will say is you will get some awesome experience just dealing with a bunch of people your age. Like, college was an amazing time for partying, for, being social, meeting girls, coming into your own with girls. Like, but you could probably do that without going to college. I think those are just the years that I was in, like 19 to 21. Those are just pivotal years for doing those activities. And just because I was surrounded by thousands of other people that were going through that same thing doesn't necessarily mean I would have had a worse experience dealing with that same stuff if I didn't go to college. Okay, so I kind of fly through college. Like I said, I've always been book smart. I did not struggle in college at all. I graduated early because I took a bunch of AP classes in high school. And so now I'm 21 and I'm graduated from college. Okay, so I had always been sold this dream, man. I'd always been sold like, yeah, you're gonna go to college and then you're gonna have this great paying job and then you're gonna, have this 401k, all this like very generic bullshit. And I was sold this dream, and at this time I was working part-time at a movie theater. And so I graduate and 6 months goes by and nothing happens. Okay, I applied to tons of jobs. I got interviewed probably 5 times in the 100 jobs, 200 jobs that I applied for, and every single job said the same thing. If you guys have ever been in my experience, you know exactly what I'm about to say. We like that you got your bachelor's degree, but you need about 2 years of experience. Okay, this is the entry-level position for my bachelor's degree. How am I supposed to get entry-level experience so that I can get an entry-level position? That doesn't make any sense, okay? The degree was supposed to supplement my experience. I had 4 year, most people it's 4-year degree. I had 3 years of experience learning the skills that were supposed to set me up. The other thing that's frustrating about it is that if you guys have ever worked a complex job, you learn exactly what they want you to learn once you get there. Okay, so it doesn't actually take any experience to do an entry-level position. And that's if I didn't go to college at all. Like, they could have taught me all the necessary skills and it would have been just fine. But I'm not complaining. I'm just saying there's a problem with that system of like, what's the point of getting my bachelor's degree? And this is in any field that isn't very, very specific. What's the point of going and getting your bachelor's degree if it doesn't get you in the door at all, okay? And I want to tell you, to this day, my experience is that every single interview I've ever done has no impact on your chances. Your bachelor's degree doesn't do shit for you. That's I'm just going to say it straightforward. You don't need a bachelor's degree. A bachelor's degree is useless. 20 years ago, I feel like they used to say like an associate's degree is useless. Well, guess what? In 2024, a bachelor's degree is useless unless you are going towards a higher form of education that you need it. Okay, now think about being a doctor, think about being a lawyer, even think about being a teacher. Those are very specific jobs that you cannot get unless you have your education and you get the certifications needed through these accredited colleges. But if you're a business major or you're an economics major or you're any sort of thing where you're going to have to build yourself up anyways, what's the point? You know, I've heard of funny like social experiments where people will lie and say they got their doctorates, people will lie and say they got their master's degrees, and just to see how many jobs that they could get offered based on this. And in their experiences in these social experiments, most of the time they were like, "Oh yeah, you got your master's degree? That's great. How many years of experience do you have?" Like, just completely gloss over it. Won't even ask you an additional question about it. Won't even ask for, proof that you got your degree. I'm like, do they even know if people got their degrees? Like, do they even check? I don't know. I've never, gone through that process from the back office end. Like, do they even check? Nobody's ever asked me to see the paper. Like, nobody's ever asked me to send them my, my grades or my proof that I graduated. Do they even care? Okay, so I got out of college. I realized I needed this like real world experience, or I needed this business experience on top of it. So what did I do? I started basically moving up at a company. I went into management super quick, and I was like, I'm just gonna get 2 years of management experience, and then maybe it'll be different. Okay. The other problem with like general degrees, like business, economics, anything like that, the business that you move up through is going to largely determine what experience translates. So most, like, let's say you wanted to work as a business administrator for a school, okay? So just because I'm a business administrator at the company that I work for doesn't mean shit, actually. They're like, oh, you've been a business administrator for this retail company, but you haven't done business administrator for the school district. Yeah, correct. I would imagine that most of the practices are very, very correlating. I would imagine that most of my experience would help me to start out doing business administration processes for your company. But you will get passed up on opportunities and things you actually want to do just because you got experience in something that was the exact same thing, but for a different industry. Okay. So overall, I would say that in terms of paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, for me, it was $26,000 that I am in debt. And for some people, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. I would say that it's very, very much so in the eye of the beholder whether that piece of paper is worth it. Did I have a great time? Did I meet a lot of people? Did I meet friends, girls, have experiences because I went to a university? Absolutely. No question about that. I don't think that was worth $26,000 in debt. Personally. I don't know what you guys think. Okay. All right, y'all. If you're going to go into any sort of general field that doesn't absolutely require some sort of extreme degree like a lawyer or a doctor or a teacher, I'm going to tell you what you should do. Okay? You don't have to take my advice. I'm not some expert, but I'm just giving you my real world experience as somebody who's gotten their bachelor's degree, who interviews well, who's somebody who is very, very good at networking, and I still have struggled to get the exact jobs that I wanted. Have I gotten successful jobs? Absolutely. Have I made money? Absolutely. But I still haven't worked a job that I loved. You know what I mean? I had to start my own business just to do anything that I loved. I had to just do YouTube as a hobby to do something that I love. Okay? The actual jobs that I've had access to have not been something that I've loved. And I've done countless looking. I'm the kind of person that never stops looking because I want to find a career that I would absolutely love. Okay? So this is what I would do if I could go back. And this is what I think you guys should do too if you don't know what you want to do in life, which is most people. Okay? There's a few different outlets that I would take. Okay? First things first, if you love to learn, you don't need to go to college. This is not a plug for YouTube, but YouTube is the biggest library of knowledge on the entire planet, okay? And it's free. It's virtual, okay? You can do it from your bed. You can do it from the gym. You can do it from a beach, okay? if you want to learn, then just strap the fuck in and just grind research for something very specific. You know, if you want to learn how to code, you can learn how to code way better on YouTube or on, you know, these different websites than you can in college. Like a computer science class can't teach you anything that YouTube could teach you, okay? Because think about it, it's baselined to a specific instructor who is also capped by curriculum and baseline level requirements for that accredited hour. You know what I mean? Also, there's a time constraint. He can only teach for however many hours he's accredited to, okay? But on YouTube, you could literally binge 10 hours of content and you could be good at coding in like a week. I know people that have learned how to code Python in a week. And the Python class that I had to take, that took me 10 weeks, and I went away going, yeah, I don't really know a practical amount of Python. I know what they wanted to teach me so that they could set me up for the second Python class, and I was like, okay, and I just didn't continue forward. Coding's not my bag, so it wasn't really my thing, but I did want to try it. But the point is, on YouTube, you could learn how to code Python in a week. Easy. If you're passionate about it, okay? And it's all about, you know, desire. It's all about discipline. And if you have discipline and you want to specialize in something, it's so easy to do it. Google literally has something called Google Courses where you can even get certifications, and most of those certifications are literally free. If they're not free, they're really, really cheap. And, you know, tuition, just the baseline tuition before you even take a single class at most universities is like $10,000 a year minimum. Okay, and that's at a cheap university. If you go to a state university, it's gonna probably be like 25,000. And like, dude, nobody has time for that. Like, we cannot, like, the reality is you're gonna step out of college and you're gonna be $50,000 in debt, $70,000 in debt. Like, every single person's gonna be different, but you're gonna have all this debt, and then you're gonna be grinding the interview process, and if you don't have immediate success, you're just going to be overwhelmed. You know, it's going to feel like you're going to be in that debt for the rest of your life unless you become extremely financially free, which we all know most people are not financially free. Okay. The best option that I would do, if let's say you're not some book smart person and you don't want to be some very, very, you know, disciplined, I'm going to teach myself through YouTube. You know, not everybody has the desire for that. Not everybody has the, I guess, mental capacity to learn through YouTube. Okay. The best option, I think, right now that you can do to make good money and go into a trade that is going to stick around because it's still done with human beings, is something with a trade school. Become an electrician, become a plumber, you know, become somebody who can operate a machine that a machine can't operate. You know, become a trade that, you know, has to fix the machine that's going to be automated someday. And, you know, I've ran $1 million business and we had to call vendors out all the time. These guys make $70 an hour, like, to be a plumber. Now, being a plumber, you know, is not sexy. It's not. But, and I'm not saying you should go be a plumber, but any sort of trade like that, you're going to be able to make your own hours. You're going to have more flexibility, and you're going to be an in-demand person because not very many people go and do trades. Everyone's going to college and getting this worthless piece of paper. You can go to a trade school, and in a year and a half, you would be making $60 an hour. Imagine being 19 and making $60 an hour. I'm a lot older than 19. I'm 27. No, I'm 28. God, what the fuck? I'm 28, and I have never, ever made $60 an hour, okay, at one job, okay? If you're making $60 an hour, you can get a house earlier, you can stack your bread, you can travel, you know, then you got to be good at budgeting, all that stuff. But a trade is something that can actually, you know, sustain a lifestyle. So if I could go back, I would definitely go into a trade school, and I would start just making money earlier. So instead of going into debt, you're actually just stacking your savings or stacking your investments. The last option And this is not for everybody. You know, there are various levels of people who can do this, or various levels of people who even support this, but the military is an actually really good option, okay? One, most of us are soft as fuck, and we need discipline, and sometimes the only way to get discipline is by forcing yourself to have discipline. And when you're in the military, that's the number one thing they teach you is discipline. You know, you go here when you're told to, you make your bed the way you're told to, you show up every single day. You might be doing nothing, you know, you might be sitting at a counter for your job, you might be, but you are going to show up when they tell you to show up. You're going to follow the rules, and you're going to learn discipline, okay? And discipline is one of the skills that will serve you for the rest of your life. I know that, and I'm only in my 20s. So discipline is super important. The other thing, I don't know if everybody knows this, but I think some people might know this. The military is the only job that you can work on Earth that won't make you a millionaire, but you can retire in 20 years. Think about that. Most 18-year-olds are never going to be able to, like, see the future because they're thinking they're immortal. They're thinking, oh, life is right now. But imagine retiring at 38, okay? You're going to get a pension that's like 7K, 8K, 9K, something like that for the rest of your life at 38. And then you can live financially free, and you can live like whatever you want to do. You could start YouTube at 38 and not care if it works. You know, you could travel to Dubai. You can do anything you want. Your family will be set up. You'll have the best healthcare on earth. I promise. An American soldier's healthcare is through the roof. Okay. And it's going to be paid for the rest of your life. You know, the other thing about the military, you don't have to do a job that is like a job that goes overseas. You know, there's tons of jobs that are literally right here in the US where they're just sitting on the base. They're just sitting on the base doing like normal people stuff. You know, you could be basically a business administrator for the military. You know, you could be an accountant for the military, and you get all those same benefits, okay? 20 years goes by, you do your time, you get out, you have access to all these different facilities, you have access to cheaper living expense, you have access to so many different opportunities in terms of just like little cheat codes that normal civilians just don't have access to. And 20 years later, you're 38, you're 40, depending on when you go in, it doesn't even matter when you go in, and you're done. You know, now you get to find hobbies that suit your passion, because most people, working is something that is good for them because it keeps them productive, but it's not something that makes them happy. Most of the time, people are working dead-end jobs. Most of the time, people are doing things that they tolerate but don't like, okay? You know, in the military, you're going to have camaraderie, you're going to have like-minded people around you, you're going to have access to facilities that other people don't have access to, you're going to have access to healthcare other people don't have access to, you're going to get paid decent. You know, the bonus structure is crazy. They're going to hand you like $75,000 checks just to re-sign your contract. And at the end of that 20 years, you know, you could have an opportunity to have a huge savings, huge investment accounts, a lot of experience too. So if you did want to keep working, you could just go into a civilian job after that. Okay. But if you want to, you can retire, and then you can actually focus on what makes you happy for the rest of your life, from 40 to 90. Who knows, man? Like maybe Elon's going to come up with some shit that keeps us alive till we're 150, and the military is just going to be fucked because they're going to be having to pay you for 110 years. You know what I mean? You got to finesse the system any way you can. And that is one way. Like, if you go into a military job that has nothing to do with going over and fighting, or going over and getting shot at, going over and getting bombed, like, you have an opportunity to kind of finesse the system and make a ton of money and be comfortable. Okay? These are my different routes that I would have taken. Personally, I probably would have done the trade route. Just knowing that I like to travel and be financially free. But I would, all right, y'all. I am not trying to discourage y'all from going to college, but in my opinion, the education system is broken. And the only way to fix it is to use it to your advantage. So if you're going to work a job, like maybe you're the most passionate person on earth about teaching, You know, we need great teachers. Maybe you're the most passionate person in the world about medicine and you need to practice medicine. I get it. Y'all go to college. Okay? Please go to college. But all y'all other people, the 90% that have no clue what they're doing, 90% that haven't figured it out yet, that don't have that burning passion, don't go to college. You know, grind YouTube courses, grind Google courses, grind, you know, philosophy, figure out what you want in life. And then if you want to go the college route, that's great. If not, go get a trade or go into the military and stack your money and don't go into outrageous debt that's going to cripple you and that's going to make you feel like you're committed to a path you don't even want to be in. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe. Feel free to comment anything that you're interested about. Maybe you completely disagree with my views. That's okay. I would love to disagree with you. Yeah, if y'all are interested, follow me on Instagram, codesbarrett, codesbarrett on Instagram. And yeah, man, we're just going to keep posting and see what the fuck happens. If you all want to DM me, you absolutely can. You can ask me any questions you want, and I will respond to all y'all. Please have a very, very blessed day, and I want you guys to just keep killing it. I know everybody who's watching this is killing it. And yeah, if you guys need any sort of inspiration, hey, just look up. Peace.